Eomma Talks. Today we are talking about identity. For the full podcast of this topic, please go on Apple Podcast at the Eomma Talks, and for the written post, visit my blog on WordPress, theeommatalks.org. Both posts will be available next Saturday. I am joined by Eomma and Zina, and we will try to shed light on the question of identity. Who does God say you are? Who do you say you are? What does society label you as? This topic has become increasingly relevant as the world shrinks as a result of the internet and social media. People go through problems that challenge their identity, and others experience problems because of their identity. Whatever side of the spectrum a person finds themselves on, some choose to fight back, whilst others ultimately succumb to the pressure. The ones who succumb become casualties of the identity crisis the world is facing. And what I want to know is, what are we doing about this? Are we doing enough? The first question that we would like to address today is, when does identity start? Eomma, please, can you help us shed some light?
When does identity start? Identity starts when you're born.
Thank you.
I think, it starts when you're born. The first question is, who does this child look like? Who does the baby look like? Does it look like their mum, their dad, the great aunt, great grandmother, third cousin removed?
Yeah.
Aunt Lucy?
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So it starts from birth. Eomma, thank you. Zina, do you have anything to add to what Eomma has?
Yeah, I agree. I think it starts from when the person's born.
Yeah.
And thereafter, as they grow, like traits, they use that to further compartmentalize that person.
Oh, that person, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they start to flesh out their identity with characteristics.
Yes.
So they have a characteristic, let's say, of throwing a tantrum.
Yes.
And before you know it, the poor baby or child is then known as an angry child or a troublesome child or toddler or whatever. And that's an identity, that label. So, yeah. But as a first step, definitely they use the face to start piecing together.
To pigeonhole.
Yeah, or pigeonhole.
Great term, yes.
Yeah.
The pigeonholing begins as a
Yes.
baby.
Yes. Thank you. The second question we should consider is, why is identity so important?
That's a hard one. But it's important because I think we as humans find comfort in being able to look at things and say, yes, it is it, or no, it's not it. So using a baby, the comfort is saying, okay, this baby's a boy or this baby's a girl. And just from that biology alone, it should be able sort of to give an idea as to what that child should experience based on their gender, or what they should not be experiencing based on that gender, where they possibly couldn't go, sometimes depending on the society they're born in, just based on that. It gives people like to predict the future.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yes.
And having
And control.
And
That's
thank you. And
interesting,
control.
Yeah.
Yes.
So being able to say, yes, I know this to be somewhat of a fact. I'm using air quotations. This is what I expect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Based on, history,
Yeah.
precedence,
Yeah. Human behavior.
experience. Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I agree. We just like to group stuff because it makes us comfortable.
Yes.
Allows us to see dangerous things.
Yes.
So if people aren't what we see as normal,
Yes.
a normal identity,
Yes.
which is like us, like me,
Yes.
then, we know whether to welcome them into our environment or shun them or...
Yes.
Yes.
So...
That's interesting.
Everything becomes very dicey
Yeah.
very quickly.
And it's a political power tool.
Yes.
Because, if you use a minority and you identify them as being a certain way, you can then obviously turn,
Yes.
favourable attitudes towards them and, just dictate social cues between people. And so it's a power tool as well as a a human comfort blanket, identifying people, boxing them in.
Yes.
Good one, Zena.
Yeah.
I was going to say, actually, quite as a side note, as you were saying, it was a political tool. I was like, yeah, that's true. What happens with Brexit? Would I still be able to go to EU to
I
go
don't know if
get
that's an
my
identity
lunch?
issue.
It's true. The passports.
It's not an identity issue.
Yeah.
But even still, yeah, it's important because we like to feel as if we can control things. We can predict stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. We understand things.
Yes. So when you give something an identity, or when you give a person an identity, it helps you to create
A profile.
a profile
Yeah.
of that person
Without knowing them, let's say.
without you create a profile
Yeah.
of that person which you expect that person to live in or to live within.
Mm-hmm.
And it's quite interesting how you have said it. It works for personal and for political reasons also.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just personal.
Hair
There are-
color.
Yeah, there are very political reasons also why identity is important.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's interesting. And the last question is, who creates identity?
It's funny. What we've explained this whole time is society creating identity, from when a child is born to people living within a community. It's the collective that are creating the machine called identity. But if I was to personally look at myself and say who created my identity, I'd say I did. I would say I'm the person responsible for it because the books I've read, the influence they've had on me, my upbringing. But these are all external things.
And this only happened after you became old enough
Precisely.
to begin to, become conscious
Yeah.
of the fact that you were building a profile for yourself.
Yes.
That's true, because before that, it's all everybody else's other input saying this is who you are.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So from birth, someone, other people's input, and from a certain age, it becomes the person's input. Consciously and unconsciously, everybody's interactively working.
Chipping in.
Yes. Quite interesting.
Having that 10 cents.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for shedding some light on these 3 questions. I shall be dealing with this topic in full. So please join me next week Saturday when I'll be addressing this topic in my usual style on my podcast. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.